think it also has something to do with our body shapes. Black women are busty, we're hippie, we're buddy. When I say buddy, I mean
I was like, what?
I was like, I knew you were gonna say that, and I was like,
that Joe's time's acting up already.
yes, I had to give y'all
bootylicious, as
Yes.
Queen B says.
It's only the second week.
Welcome to the RePsychled podcast, where we discuss everyday issues from a mental health perspective. We are your hosts, Dr. Rashonda Strickland,
Dr. LaFonya Jones-Hines,
and Dr. Nichelle Wall.
Welcome back to session 129, the Black Horror Complex. Today's mood music is brought to you by the beautiful and voluptuous Jill Scott, Woman Manifesto.
Hey, interns. Today we're going to be talking about Black women being hypersexualized. And today's question is, why have we allowed society to identify Black women as fast or whores based on our body shape?
I think that's a very interesting question, especially the word allowed. So I think that goes way back, all the way to slave times.
Yeah.
And just kind of how we have been indoctrinated over the hundreds of years on our voice. And I think it's multi-layered. One, you have the Black experience and then also the woman experience. And both sections of those have been told that you do not talk back. Your ideas don't matter. What you want doesn't matter. You stay over there. You're to be seen occasionally, definitely not heard. So I think that has really contributed heavily on why we don't speak up. Not societally, but just our culture.
And I would add the third layer is the westernized, I was going to say envelopians, but they have made it seem like that's all we are worth. That's all we're good for. And because that is how our ancestors have tried to make us sit in the corner and shut up, we can't then contradict what you're trying to tell me I am.
Agree.
Yeah, and y'all know we talked about this in session 2 long ago. Trope tripping.
Do like fade to like.
We've had very, not on our end, but very strategic tropes or titles or caricatures of us as Black women, and one of the main ones is the Jezebel. And there's this assumption that because my skin is darker, I'm promiscuous or I'm less innocent, and that's not really true. Like even when you look at Disney, you will see that Jafar is dark compared to the hero or the anti-hero, because we all know
Agreed. Yeah,
he's not. Scar is dark in comparison to Mufasa and Simba. It's like that little line. So there is a demonizing or vilification that ends up happening when you have melanin in your skin or your fur.
Yes, 100%. And I think it's unfortunate for us because, like you said, that's not true. If anything, we tend to be told and raised as the opposite.
Yes.
Sorry guys, I'm earring hit the thing. So even though outwardly we're seen one way, what we're raised to be is almost prudish,
right?
Yes.
To an extent,
and will be called fast and trifling quickly by the older communities. So we're in this very weird in between. It's like we fight for our lives just to figure out who we actually are.
And I think it also has something to do with our body shapes. Black women are busty, we're hippie, we're buddy. When I say buddy, I mean I was like, what?
I was like, I knew you were gonna say that, and I was like,
that Joe's time's acting up already.
Yes, I had to give y'all
bootylicious, as Queen B says.
It's only the second week.
I know, but still, I got to give them something. Me. But yes, I think it's because of our body shapes. Because you remember, well, I don't know if y'all remember, but when we used to go in front of the old people and they'll say, girl, them thighs thick, thick. I can see the parking lot through them thighs.
All kinds of little things. And I don't think the older generation really realized how that led to the shame.
Yes.
You know, this whole idea of that your body is something to be ashamed of, disgusted by, covered up. And that hearing that kind of thing also creates self-consciousness.
Yeah.
In an individual. So, you know, as you become an adult, you become, you know, much more your self-esteem about certain areas of your body and certain ways that you dress or present yourself or how you move or how you speak. You start to feel like I shouldn't be this way because I'm going to be thought of as insert whatever it is you think the person's going to be thought of as.
Yeah, it's a never-ending battle.
Mm-hmm.
And it really sets us for this layered effect. It's like, how do I understand my own sensuality and sexuality? But how do I not offend other people when in all actuality, other people are not our business?
Right. How I offend you because of my body? Like, I ain't got nothing to do with that.
And look, you probably got the same body I got.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing about it is, I think it's so confusing for us because, you know, other races of men, they sexualize us and think that that's how we are. But Black men want us to be virgins and wait for them so we can have their babies.
They want us to be virginal bust downs, and that don't
The
really
Madonna
go
whore complex.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I told the ladies, you know, and they know this because they've seen it, but my entire dissertation was over how we as African American women are to battle against the historical perception of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that has to do with the community that we are in, how we connect to those that we love and how they support us. And without that connection, all hell starts to break loose. And even with the connection, sometimes it's a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm. I think that's so ridiculous that we got to fight against people not sexualizing us. That's so stupid.
Yeah, that you're both.
Yes.
Because I'm both.
Yeah.
And I hate that idea, like that whole saying a lady in the streets, but a freak in the sheets. Because one, you have polarized the individual that you're with. You are only two things.
Yep.
And there is no complexity, no gray area for, you know, the humanness of that person that you're dealing with. Like, you're either this wholesome, you know, individual, or you, again, over there busting it down and like, you know, let's make it rain on you. And it's like, hold on, this person is a lot of things in between.
Yes.
We are not a monolith. We are multifaceted. If I want to be demure and meek and nurturing, that also falls over into my sexual side. That means I'm probably going to be busting it down even more. Because I'm in touch with that.
Yeah.
That level of femininity can also be nasty. And nasty is not a bad thing in this sense. You know, I know we use it in a derogatory sense, but I think when people start wrapping their heads around somebody can be both, we can do both, it makes like the playing field level, number one, but it also opens up people and gives them permissions for discovery, for exploration, because we have not had the freedom to do that publicly.
Yeah, I think that women, if people start seeing Black women as human, I mean, just do that. Then you will see that there's more layers to us than just a freak in the, a lady in the street and a freak in the bed. I was about to say it backwards. A lady in the street and a freak in the bed.
I mean, you could be backwards. That's okay too.
That's a lot of people,
right?
Because it's a mask that they wear.
That is true. So I think if we stop, first of all, stop judging people and stop based on what we look like.
Yeah.
Just because I have tight pants on and I'm hippie and I got an ass out here, don't mean that I'm out here just backing that thing up all the time.
No,
going in a circle all the time.
no, it brings up, and a lot of people know about this, the exhibit that was in Europe for a really long time of Sarchi or Sarah Bartman, which was the African woman from South Africa who was one of the first documented sex trafficked African women, and how the people that own her, the enslavers, took her around essentially the world, letting people do horrible things to her, touch, prod, be intimate with her on display. And then once she died, a museum kept her body up, visible, unclothed for 100 years.
That's so
It's
sense.
the level of disrespect. And you know, we've seen it in other ethnicities and things like that as well. You know, I'm gonna call them allegations because they haven't been proven, but the allegations of what happened to Marilyn Monroe once she died, because they could not find her body for a really long time. And you know, this is actually something that's been circulating on social media here recently, is that a lot of women have changed their wills or things like that so that it says, I want to be immediately cremated, so that nobody can do anything to me, because they're not even safe in the afterlife.
That's crazy.
Because necromancy is a real thing. If you don't know what that word is, look it up.
And a lot of people like that. There's a certain individual that has recently been tried and was a firefighter and had done that to 100 girls and women from the age of 9 to 100.
Yeah, I mean, it is a sad situation when our bodies are not our own. You know, they are for the viewing pleasure and judgment of others. You know, just kind of thinking about the Sarah Bartman, it makes me think about the women that have been objectified in the medical field, you know, experimented on, and, you know, the whole field of gynecology of sorts. You
was
know,
experimenting on enslaved people.
And, you know, I know we're talking about the sexualized objectification, but we have just been objectified just because of, you know, the idea that we don't experience the same levels of pain that other individuals do.
Proven.
Right.
Which makes literally no sense. If you have skin, you feel pain. You know, of course, you're going to have outliers of people that are hypersensitive and hypersensitive, but for the most part, your bell curve is going to say, yes, human beings feel pain.
And in fact, it's sometimes more sensitive.
Absolutely.
It also makes me think about Meg Thee Stallion and Lizzo, who are very comfortable with their bodies. And people don't like the fact that they're comfortable with their bodies. Let these women live and be okay.
Or they justify things being done to them because they had an intimate relationship with this person or they did this. That has nothing to do with the other.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't get to mistreat me because I was intimate. If anything, you should treat me better because you have a closer relationship to me. You know, also when you think about how they always are talking about how Lori Harvey is for the streets. She's literally had 5 or 6 public relationships. How do you think she gonna find her person if she don't date nobody?
Right.
Because I'm like, it's dating.
She is in a bracket that the majority of us in the world will never be in. So almost any person she dates is going to be a high profile relationship. Even her initial one, him just being a soccer player or a football player, depending on what part of the world you at, was public. You know what I mean? I didn't know that man's name. He was cute, but I didn't know that man's name. That doesn't make her for the streets. It makes her a woman that's dating.
You know, I tell my clients all the time, my single clients all the time, people don't know how to date. You think that when you go out on a date with somebody, y'all committed, y'all in a relationship. That is not what dating is.
That made my flesh crawl a bit.
Dating is doing exactly what Lori Harvey is doing. She's dating to figure out who her person is.
And these are relationships. These are not even like, oh, we just together. These are actually been committed relationships, the ones that are public.
Okay, so then that's different. So, but yes, but still, even still, and for her to be in a relationship, she got to figure out what she do and don't like in a man. But when people are dating, you date. You don't just stay committed to one person.
No, unless you are in one of these holiness churches or sects or something like that, where it's like you are going to go through an official courtship. It's almost an arranged marriage, and you will be with this one person, and that is it.
Yeah.
The majority of us are out here going to date people. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think one of the unfortunate parts about all of this is, again, I think it continues to boil back down to you don't get to be your own.
Yeah.
That people believe that they can put their own judgments, their own beliefs, their own values, their own wants, hopes / dreams onto you, and that you're supposed to abide by them because it's what's in their head.
We've given society too much power over us as individuals.
It's the pretty politics for me.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I had watched the video and I cannot source I can see the woman in my head. And I'm so sorry. I'll tag it if we can find it. But she was talking about how there's this, the pretty vagina, and like how, music and things and hip hop, everybody's, I got that wet, or you got these, and how we in some ways have objectified ourselves and kind of, sorry, y'all, fell into the misogyny a little bit. And that we really got to undo some of that thinking as well, because we're victim to it on the same end.
I just be irritated. It just, especially because this is close to my area, my niche, in mental health. Sometimes it really do take a lot out of me. I feel like they just be having me in a chokehold because it's like our society is moving so slow, and then when things are brought up, instead of people hearing you and listening, what they heard was, that's going to impact me and you trying to take away my stuff.
And you're trying to make me change.
And that's not what it is. My thing is, if I say that this is what is acceptable for me and you are not okay with that, stop dealing with me. I'm good with it. I can be sad and get through that because I've been sad before and gotten through it. But it's the forcing.
And I think the other thing to that is that women don't know what to say. Women don't know how to protect themselves when these types of things happen.
Because you do got to be careful.
Yeah. Because you have some people out there who will basically just call you everything except for the child of God. They try to put hands on you because they think, for whatever reason, they now think that you are their property, sir. I mean, ma'am, sir and ma'am. I ain't gonna just put it on the sirs.
Yeah, because misogyny is in everybody.
Exactly.
Yes.
My body belongs to me. So
if I say it, no.
Exactly. And if I said, don't call me that, or don't address me like that, then that's what I mean. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking about what you were saying. I think there's also a lot of fear in Black women and how we move around in society because of some of the backlash that we do receive. Black femicide is real, and that idea of you belong to me or you are my object. So if you turn down, a man that has approached you, it can become deadly.
Yeah. Sexuality in a patriarchal society is about entitlement for a man. I am entitled to everything you have, and your responsibility is to give it to me. And that is not going to equate a mutually beneficial relationship. And I say this all the time when we talk about sex and intimacy. Even when you have a traditional BDSM style relationship, it is still a give and take. It is still a feeding into submission and feeding into dominance or whatever that particular kink is under that umbrella. It is not one-sided. You don't get to tell me what to do and I'm not also getting something out of it. And I think people forget that. People are so focused on being number one, being on top, controlling, not dealing with their stuff. You don't realize how disrespectful and how destructive that is to our communities as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very childish.
Yeah, I remember. It puts me in the mind. Y'all remember when we went out one night? I think for Trish's birthday, and at the end, the guy came up to me and wanted to dance, and he was intoxicated, and he kept trying to get me. And Dr. Wall was like, "She is married," and so I was like, "You know what?
Know I'll mollywop a joker."
But that's the thing. In order for us to not have to do it, I just went ahead, got up, danced, and had some little space between us. Just let me go ahead and do a little shake here and a shake there, shake everywhere, shake.
And then sat down.
And then I sat down.
But even after that same night, the dude came up to Trish and
said some very
said some stuff and put his genitalia on her.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was like go time.
Yeah.
I was like, we about to hurt you, sir.
Yeah.
I'm trying to protect you because now we at the car,
right,
where things are. So I don't understand that, and I think I've always been the friend that goes on rah when it gets to stuff like that, because I'm normally the smallest person, number one, but I'm also super protective of people that I love, and I'm just like, get behind me. I don't know why they're getting behind me, because I'm not covering a lot of their body.
But the shortest one.
Get behind me.
Like right now.
One day we gonna stand up so y'all can see, because we
clear
look
over your head.
we look the same. But I just
look. Why I got one more? What? Because that reminded me when we was when we was in Vegas, and I was in the we was getting off the elevator. It was all of us, including my husband, and
it was multiple men with us.
Yes, but they didn't see him. Because the dude looked like he was about to just push me back into the elevator. And now, mind you, my brother was with me. He's a Marine.
Y'all, it's like at least 4 men with us.
Dr. Wall done stepped on my side and was like, go.
Yeah, I be trying to tame it down. But that's a prime example of when we as women don't feel safe and protected, we are in our masculine energy. We cannot be nobody.
Yeah.
Male, female, whatever, cannot be in their feminine energy if they are feeling unprotected or unsafe. We have to be at a place of protection.
Yeah.
Now, it's not something that we want to be in, but yeah, we at Vegas, we on the strip, or we in wherever we were at. It ain't going down.
Right.
What you're not supposed to do is sex traffic for free on a wedding night. Okay. She got other things to do. Okay.
But I want our male interns to understand, if you are like that, please stop that. Don't make women feel like they can't say no to you just to protect themselves, because that's dangerous. For both.
Yeah, adult tantrums don't typically end well.
Yeah.
For one or both parties.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And women interns, know that you figure out how you can best protect yourself, especially when you're by yourself, but even when you're with a group of friends. Figure out how you can still say no, how your no means no, and still be able to feel like you can walk away from a situation.
Yeah, your exit strategy.
You gotta do what's safe for you.
Yes.
Because sometimes you got to give old boy your Google number so that when he call you and you're standing right in front of him,
it actually rings.
And then you go on about your business and block it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's so sad that we have to do that. Yes, I can think of plenty of times where it's like, okay. Because I think I remember the first time somebody actually did that to me. Like called me like right then. And it was like, oh, I'm glad I gave, this is before the days of Google numbers. So I actually had to give my actual cell phone number, and called me right then. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad I did not give a fake number, because had you done that and they would have do or something like that, who knows how that could have ended.
Right.
Yeah.
See, my safety net, if you have an iPhone, you can silence unknown numbers. And so that's my safety net, because I'll say, well, I got an iPhone, so it's not going to come through until you call. So I don't even have to it's still going to stay there.
It's so sad. all these tricks and tips and things that you got to do just to
Survive.
move around in a world that thinks that you are an object.
Yeah.
And you can be manipulated, informed how that person wants. It's not on us. Yes, we have to protect ourselves, but when you really get down to the meat and potatoes, the nitty gritty of it, it's that a lot of people do not know how to control themselves. They have had no repercussions, no consequences for their horrible actions throughout their life, or they're told, boys will be boys, men will be men, or it's okay to do X, Y, and Z, and not really understand that it's only okay if I said it was okay. Like, if we are doing this together, I'm participating.
Yeah.
Well, we don't learn anything about consent.
Mhm.
We don't learn anything about consent when it comes to the actual sexual act. We don't learn about consent in just touching a person.
Or
don't
even
think about
giving you my number.
Or like taking it even further back, like with children, like forcing children to hug their relatives or give them a kiss or things like that. Go say hello. Of course, we understand politeness and manners and all that kind of stuff, but we don't even learn it on a base level,
Right.
let alone when we're getting to adulthood, and now we have to like actually enforce some things with somebody that we're not related to.
Right. You learn by trial and error when you become an adult.
Look, I said this in a different session that I didn't learn anything about my body, what my body meant, what my boundaries were, what I was not to be okay with, and everything was a trial by fire. Now well into adulthood, I'm very clear on, this, and that, all those other kinds of things. But as a 17-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 22-year-old, I had a whole different experience and ended up going through a lot of things that if I would have been able to understand more about me and consent and what I wanted and what I needed, I would have been able to set some much more firm limits, when I was younger.
I agree with that. When you said trial by fire, why did my mind all just automatically, that's why she's an Aries. That's why she's an Aries.
Yeah. Now, I'm not gonna say those things went nice and meek and easy. There definitely was some fire in there, not literal fire, but
tough moment.
Yeah.
And I want to add to, because one of the things you said, if you would have been more aware of like your body and things like that, body shaming is a real thing, and body shaming can definitely cause people to have these negative views about themselves that we were talking about earlier. So when people talk to you about your body, if you don't agree with it, then it's okay for you to not agree with it. It's okay for you to tell people to stop talking to you about your body unless they have an MD behind their name.
It's really intrusive.
Why
do you feel a need to tell somebody about their body? Unless you're telling me I got a boogie in my nose, my bra strap is showing, you see my panties or something. Like, why are you judging me? Judge yourself. Judge your mammy.
Worry about yourself.
Not judge your mammy.
Just saying. We told you this gonna be a different season.
Truth be told, half the time y'all talking all this noise about Black women, y'all mamas look worse than what y'all trying to talk about. If truth be told,
and if you would heal your mother wound, you wouldn't be taking it out on your sisters.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine. I'm so glad that I don't have those types of men in my life that disparage Black women, because I could not imagine being family with somebody that goes out in public and completely annihilates Black women and then comes home and wants to kiki it up with your sister, your mama, your aunties, your cousins. And it's like, but wait a minute.
Weird.
Yeah. And so it's okay for your family's okay, but
everybody else is. And y'all, we are not talking about preference. That is not the situation that we are talking about, because we all have family members who have other preferences other than Black women. We are talking about the degradation of Black women. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I could care less what your preference is.
Right.
You do what you do.
Yeah.
But you don't have to put down in order to put up.
I ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Talk about your preference. Talk about what you like
And leave
without
it there.
me.
Yeah.
Leave it there.
Yeah.
Because if I say, I think in previous sessions I've said that, my preference is tall guys.
That's
That
a
ain't got
preference.
nothing to do with short people.
Yep.
Because I'm a short people.
Mhm.
That has nothing to do with us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about why I like tall guys.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And a preference don't mean end all be all either.
No.
And just because you had one bad experience with a Black woman or with a few, it don't mean all Black women are like that. So don't keep shaming us or bad mouthing us or degrading us because you've had bad experiences.
Because that's not what you don't want that from us.
Right.
And that's not to say that there are not people who talk like that on both sides. That's not what we're saying. But sometimes you have to put out what you want to get back.
Mm-hmm.
And that has to be a
Yeah.
constant reminder, because if you are part of the problem, then the problem will continue to exist.
That's right.
You need to be solution focused.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Mhm.
Keep your eye on your own prize.
And stop being judgy.
Yeah. I ain't got nothing else to say.
we sick of.
Stop being judgmental out here in these streets.
Right. And stop body shaming.
Mm-hmm. All right. And enjoy the body you have.
Yes.
If nobody's told you, Black women, enjoy the body you have. It don't matter how big, small, short or tall, light or dark. Enjoy the body
hair
you
texture.
have.
Everything.
All of it.
So next session, y'all, we have a treat for y'all. We are going to be having our first shrink wrap session for our new interns. That is a session where we have an expert in a particular topic come on and discuss different things related to their profession. And we will be having Dr. Shalon Harris, who is a doctor in the medical field, and she's a midwife. She gonna have lots of gems.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be good.
So make sure y'all listen to it because we're going to be talking about vaginal health.
Yes.
And men, you need to listen to it too because
If
y'all
you like
don't
vaginas.
be knowing.
If you like
Yes, if you like.
yes.
But y'all don't be knowing what to do sometimes.
Mhm.
Or what even it is. Y'all just know the word and then be like, oh yeah, okay, I know what to do.
Right.
I know
And
what that
y'all don't
is.
be knowing understanding why we say don't touch like this, don't bite like that, don't lick like that. We need you to understand.
Get your education.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so y'all know we always end off with a quote.
Today's quote is, "The voice of a Black woman should always be herself. No edits, no erasure, no pressure, no expectations, no additions, no intruders." Malabo Safodi.